All right, so I think this is the fifth or sixth final part that I'm going to make for this reaction video. We're coming towards the end of the debate. Um, so yeah, it's been. I mean, I don't regret watching it, but I still wish that President Trump would have came here and just destroyed all of these candidates. But I do agree with what some of them said. I do like the Ramaswamy guy, um, and yeah, I don't really like anybody else. But most of them, I would say I've agreed with what they've had to say. I just disagree, of course, with their stance on President Trump and some other things, the climate. Um, yeah, but we're going to continue because we're going to talk about education next. So I'm not going to talk, I'm just going to get right into it because we got about 30 minutes, or a little more than 30 minutes of the debate left. So let's go. Education is a big, important topic for me too, as a college student.
Are not proficient in reading or math after this.
All right, we're gonna skip the ads. Oh wait, no, sorry. But yeah.
Do you trust our government and where the economy is heading? Does the thought of losing your hard-earned retirement savings to DC's reckless spending scare the heck out of you? Well, you're absenteeism, deep declines for reading and math for 15-year-olds and 13-year-olds. Governor DeSantis, you would eliminate, you said, the Department of Education. But as president, would you still have a responsibility to fix this crisis as we see it? Absolutely. The decline in education is one of the major reasons why our country is in decline. We need education in this country, not indoctrination in this country. And in Florida, we stood up for what was right. First, we had schools open during COVID, and a lot of the problems that we've seen are because these lockdown states lock their kids out of school for a year, year and a half. That was wrong. We stood up. I took a lot of fire for that. I was pilloried by the media, but I stood for our kids. And as president, I'll stand for you and your kids as well. But we have to make sure that what our schools are doing is focusing on solid academics. In Florida, we eliminated critical race theory from our K through 12 schools. We eliminated gender ideology from our K through 12 schools. And we have elevated the importance of American civics and teaching our kids about the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. As president, I'm going to lead an effort to increase civic understanding and knowledge of our Constitution. We cannot be graduating students that don't have any foundation in what it means to be an American. Mr. Ramaswamy.
Okay, but he didn't. I wish he would have went into more about eliminating the Department of Education. I wish he would have expanded more about that because that seems counterproductive too. Like, how do you fix education by eliminating the Department of Education? I mean, it can be. Um, I mean, it can be fixed. It doesn't need to be completely eliminated because, and what are you going to replace it with? I mean, that's the thing. People always say get rid of this and this and that, but what are you? There needs to be something to replace it that's even better. And I mean, I agree. We need to make all these changes for the betterment of our education system, but getting rid of the Department of Education instead of reforming it, which is what it really needs, especially in this administration. Um, it needs to be reformed. Some people may need to be replaced, and with with people who actually care about the state of America's education, um, and who actually value the importance of education instead of like you said, indoctrination. Um, so yeah, I'm for all for reforming the Department of Education because it definitely needs that. It's not good the way it is right now. I'm not at all for completely eliminating it, especially since he didn't give an alternative solution to just saying just get rid of it. But everything else I agreed with. We only need to eliminate the Department of Education. We can keep it.
Mr. Ramaswamy, hold on, Senator Scott. You've said that the Department of Education, the FBI, the ATF, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, the IRS, the Department of Commerce, many of these should not exist.
That's correct.
So, to the education question, how would you deal with the crisis?
So look, we have a crisis of achievement. Let's shut down the head of the snake, the Department of Education. Take that $80 billion, put it in the hands of parents across this country. This is the civil rights issue of our time. Allow any parent to choose where they send their kids to school. End the teachers' unions at the local level to allow public schools to compete. And then revive our national identity where every high school senior should have to pass the same civics test that frankly every immigrant, including my mother, had to pass in order to become a citizen of this country.
Well, at least he uplifted public schools, because our public schools are like still in the toilet, and everybody's always talking about private schools, and not much attention is given to our public schools, in my opinion. But yeah. But I don't know why, like, we don't really. That's kind of extreme, saying just to get rid of the IRS and get rid of Department of Education, get rid of like all of these institutions that have, been here for like many years. Just um, I'm gonna continue.
Fact of the matter is, look, there's part of education policy that also rests with the family. I didn't grow up in money, but the word privilege gets used a lot. Well, you know what? I did have the ultimate privilege of two parents in the house with a focus on educational achievement. And I want every kid to enjoy that. So part of the problem is we also have a federal government that pays single women more not to have a man in the house than to have a man in the house, contributing to an epidemic of fatherlessness. And I think that goes hand in glove with the education crisis as well, because we have to remember education starts with the family, and the nuclear family is the greatest form of governance known to mankind.
Okay, not sure if I really agree with placing education in the hands of parents. I mean, parents should have more control over, like, a more of a say of more power should be given to the parents over like what their kids are learning. They should be included in meetings like that, and their voice should be heard. I'm not sure if we should transfer all the power from the Department of Education to the parents. Um, and yeah, they should be able to choose where their kids go to school. I'm not sure about the rest of what he's saying. Like I said, there needs to be reform in the institutions that we already have. I don't believe it's necessary to just completely abolish these important institutions. There just needs to be a change internally.
Governor Haley has said that biological boys playing in girls' sports is the women's issue of our time. You said that even though you signed a ban on this in North Dakota, that there hadn't been one instance where it was actually needed. Are you saying that you think that too much is made of this issue?
No, I'm saying in North Dakota, we made a priority of protecting women's sports, and we've done that in our state. But I would absolutely do that. But I do think when we start talking about education and we think that we're going to have a federal government one size fits all, we're just completely losing track of the fact that education differs by state. Some school districts are doing a fantastic job, some less so. But the idea that every school district, state, and every teacher is somehow indoctrinating people is just false. When I was building a company from scratch, with small town kids, we went, grew up in a town of 300, but we built a global company in 132 countries with over 100,000 customers. We listened to those customers. We spent time with them. We talked to them. We did that. And as governor, well, education is one of the biggest part of the state budget. So as a governor, I shadow a student. I don't, the night before I find out the student finds out, I'm going to go to every class with them. I don't sit and lecture school districts how to do it. I go and see the experience, and there's a lot of things that have to change. But what needs to change in education is it's innovation. We're doing it the same way we did it 50 years ago with innovation, not regulation. I would get rid of the Department of Education. I would give block grants to schools, but I'd give them on merit based on who's doing the most innovative. I just got done holding the 7th annual Governor's Conference on Innovation Education. You should see what the people are doing when you cut loose the red tape, get the burden off their back. They care. Teachers in this country, the vast majority of them care about those kids. They're working in low-paying jobs, and they're fighting for those kids and their families.
Well, I can say that. I mean, I wasn't alive 50 years ago. I'm only 28, obviously, but I mean, for what I've heard, the education system was like, for the most part, better than what it is now. Because like 50 years ago, there was no critical race theory, whatever it's called. There was no LGBTQ, all this stuff, and there wasn't like just all this political correctness in schools and all this crazy stuff that's being taught in schools now. That didn't happen 50 years ago. People knew what gender they were. There weren't use of gender pronouns. I mean, not in the way they're misused now. Yeah, I mean, if you've been in school, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, if anything, like that part, we need to return back to 50 years ago. But there are some changes 50 years ago that needed to be like, probably need to be like done away with and replaced with, you know, what we have now. But as far as the curriculum, we need to go back to 50 years where there was emphasis and importance placed on, like what the candidates mentioned, civics, history, the core classes, math, science, English, reading. More emphasis was placed on that 50 years ago than critical race theory and gender pronouns.
Said that this is the women's issue of our time.
First, I'll tell you, as you know, as a parent, the one thing you want is for your child to have a better life than you did. And we can talk about all of these things, and there's a lot of crazy woke things happening in schools, but we've got to get these kids reading. If a child can't read by 3rd grade, they're 4 times less likely to graduate high school. So we need to make sure we bring in reading remediation all over this country. We need transparency in the classroom because parents should never have to wonder what's being said or taught to their children in the classroom. Parents need to be deciding which schools their kids go to because they know best. And let's put vocational classes back into the high schools. Let's teach our kids to build things again. When we do that and we allow that innovation, that's when it'll get back. And yes, I will always say I'm going to fight for girls all day long because strong girls become strong women. Strong women become strong leaders. And biological boys don't belong in the locker rooms of any of our girls.
We're going to start the lightning round, and the first question is going to go to you, Vice President. So this is a lightning round of questions, 30-second answers, please. President Biden will be 82 years old on Inauguration Day. Nearly 70% of Americans say that he is too old to serve. Should presidents have to pass a mental and physical test in order to serve, Vice President Pence?
I do. I believe so.
Well, it might be a good idea to have everybody in Washington, D.C. pass a mental and
Yeah. Yeah. If we do the president, let's do everybody else.
No, the American people can make those judgments. But let me say, I'm running for president of the United States because we don't need a president who's too old. And we don't need a president who's too young. We need a president who's been there. We need a president who knows how Congress works, how the White House works, how states work. And on this education issue, Martha, I was fighting against No Child Left Behind when Republicans were doubling the Department of Education. I'll also shut down the Federal Department of Education. And when I was governor, we doubled the size of the largest school choice program.
Okay, we're past education now. But I don't know why they were booing, because that made sense. We see what's happening with Biden. He's really in mental decline right now. He's stumbling all over the place. He forgets things. He um, just pretty much makes a fool of himself every time he's in the public spotlight. And a lot of people are pointing to his or attributing that to his him getting up in age and therefore his rapid mental decline. Now, President Trump doesn't have that issue. He's a lot more stable than Biden. And they're both like around the same age, I believe. But I mean, still, there really should be a mental and physical test for if you want to run for any like position in public office. And yeah, like Penn said, you shouldn't be too young because then you lack the experience, the knowledge to be a political leader, and the maturity. Um, and on the other end of the spectrum, you shouldn't be too old because then you're going to be like Biden, and you don't want to be like Biden, because that's why our country's in the condition decline that it's in now. So yeah, don't know why there was booing towards that. I agree with that.
America, and we'll give school choice to every family in America.
So,
when I'm in the White House.
This is a lightning round, Mr. Ramaswamy. I think you were mentioned there. You're 38. You're the youngest on the stage. You've said, and you just said, you want a civics test or public service for those under 25 to be able to vote. So the question is, do you want a mental acuity test for presidents over 75?
I believe in the people of this country to tell the difference between somebody who's an automaton and somebody who's actually a thinking agent in the White House, which we don't have in there today. And I will tell you, I want to address Vice President Pence's comment. I think we do need somebody of a different generation to lead this nation forward. Look at the way I've run this campaign. Going to the south side of Chicago, to Kensington, in the middle of Philadelphia, where traditional Republican candidates don't go. We have an opportunity to build a multi-ethnic, working-class majority to deliver a landslide, and I think I'm the only candidate in this race, young or old, black or white, to bring all of those voters along to deliver a Reagan 1980 revolution. We're going to do it 2024.
Same question.
In a presidential election until 20.
I will answer that. I will answer that. 30 seconds for the answer.
You guys have to get control of
This is another thing because like we putting decisions like these in the hands of Americans. I mean, I'm not saying I've completely lost faith in my fellow Americans, but it's not looking good for our country and for our people. And when you put decisions in the hands of voters like this, I mean, look what happened. Like people voted for Biden. Now look what we have in the White House. And look what's happened to our country since then, past almost 4 years. And so, when it comes to important decisions like this, let's just make this like let's have logic make that decision for us. Like, let's have common sense make that decision. Obviously, after Biden, we really people should be physically and mentally fit to be in political office. You're in charge of billions of people's lives. You're in charge of all these political important decisions, both domestically and internationally. The president is in charge of so much. People in Congress are in charge of so much. People in these like local political office and national political offices, they all need to be physically, mentally fit, like President Trump and like other political leaders who, are physically and mentally fit. They said they want Americans to decide. Let's just say yes, this should be a requirement. Let's just answer the question. That's what it should be.
Listen, we're getting control of the debate. This is a lightning round, not rolling thunder. Governor Hutchinson, you have 30 seconds on the same question.
on education, first of all, look at Arkansas. We have to compete with China. I built computer science education. We led the nation in computer science education,
Nobody's answering the
going
question.
from 1,100 students to 23,000 students taking it. This is how you compete with China. As President of the United States, I will make sure we go from 51% of our schools offering computer science to every school in rural areas and urban areas offering computer science for the benefit of our kids, and we can compete with China in terms of technology.
That's great. They didn't answer the question.
This is going to go to this is coming to you. We're trying to do a quick round of different topics here. So, Senator Scott, faith is on decline in this country. You talked about it a little bit before.
All different topics. Okay.
So, is there a role for a president of the United States in changing that? What would you do to change that?
Well, our nation was founded upon the Judeo-Christian values that has made this the greatest nation on God's green earth. I'm a big believer in Ephesians 3:20 that God is able to do exceedingly abundantly
We don't need to
above
change
all that
it.
we ask or imagine. Our responsibility should be to model the behavior.
What was
we
her
want
question?
others
Hold
to
on, I'm sorry.
follow. On education, the only way we change education in this nation is to break the we ask or imagine. Our responsibility should be to model the behavior we want others to follow.
There, you're 38, you're the youngest on the stage. You've said, and you just said, you want a civics test or public service for those under 25 to be able to vote. So the question
Sorry,
is,
guys.
do you want
I missed her
mental
question.
acuity test?
Here we go.
Education, going from 1,100 students to 23,000 students taking it. This is how you compete with China. As President of the United States, I will make sure we go from 51% of our schools offering computer science to every school in rural areas and urban areas offering computer science for the benefit of our kids, and we can compete with China in terms of technology.
Thank you, sir. This is going to go to this is coming to you. We're trying to do a quick round of different topics here. So, Senator Scott, faith is on decline in this country. You talked about it a little bit before tonight. So, is there a role for a president of the United States in changing that?
Oh, yes.
What would you do?
Yes. I'm sorry. I agree with that.
Our nation was founded upon the Judeo-Christian values that has made this the greatest nation on God's green earth. I'm a big believer in Ephesians 3:20 that God is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask or imagine. Our responsibility should be to model the behavior we want others to follow. On education, the only way we change education in this nation is to break the backs of the teachers' unions. They are standing in the doorhouse of our kids, locking them into failing schools and locking them out of the greatest future they could have.
As President, Governor DeSantis, would you support some mandatory military service for all Americans?
I think it should be voluntary. I'm somebody that
Voluntary,
volunteered to
yeah.
serve, inspired by September 11th, and I deployed to Iraq alongside U.S. Navy SEALs in places like Fallujah, Ramadi, and it's something that I think has taught me, when you go in that type of environment, anything you have, your personal agenda, you check.
Especially not the horrible state our military is in right now, where they're having problems recruiting people because of the decline of morality in our military. So that's the wrong time to make military service mandatory. And not everybody is, he said all Americans, not everybody is physically and mentally fit to be in the military. That's why they kick some people out, because not everybody is cut out for that.
Door. You go there, and it's about focusing on the mission above all else. And guys come together, and they get it done. And that's how I would view being the president of the United States. It's not about me. It's not about all these other side issues. My sole focus will be on your future and reversing this country's decline.
Okay, now for something a little out of this world, and this is for you, Governor Christie. Do you believe that the recent spike in UFO encounters?
Oh.
I get the UFO question?
Yeah, you do.
Come on.
Yeah.
Okay,
Christy, you get it.
We've been hearing a lot of testimony in Congress, and people are taking this a lot more seriously. And we're hearing that, there are things going on that people aren't aware of. So
He's shaking his head. I'm shaking my head too. Like,
Governor
why is he
Christie,
asking anybody this question?
Level
What's that have to
with
do
the
with
American
anything?
people about what the government knows about these possible
Martha,
encounters.
and especially coming from a woman from New Jersey. I think it's horrible that just because I'm from New Jersey, you asked me about unidentified flying objects and Martians. We're different, but we're not that different. Look, of course, the job of the President of the United States is to level with the American people about everything. The job of the President of the United States is
I should skip this. It's so ridiculous. This belongs in a parody, not an actual debate.
Is to be a role model for our children and our grandchildren.
President of the United States is not to be concerned with UFOs.
For this problem of education, and Tim's right, by the way. And I started this in 2010 by going right after the teachers' unions in New Jersey and drove them down to an all-time low popularity rating because they were putting themselves before our kids. That is the biggest threat to our country, not UFOs.
Okay. Well,
Yes.
Coming up, we've got closing arguments plus right after the debate. Hannity is live from the spin room right here.
I would just say pass. I wouldn't even bother answering that if they gave me that question. Okay, oh, I think that's it. Wait, hold on, or maybe not.
Choking us. I grew up in a small town.
Oh, I think I know this part. I think them talking about like why they should be president of the United States. So they're just going to go through their background and their political career and why they think they should be president. I think that's it. Hold on. I've seen a few of these debates before. I know. Oh, wait, this is a quiz. I like quizzes. Hold on. Okay, so it says, until recently, Joe Biden has refused to admit how many grandchildren he really has. How many is it? Oh, I don't know that. I don't keep up to date with Biden like that, let alone know how many grandchildren he has. I guess I could take a lucky guess. They want me to text my answer, but I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna. Grandchildren. I have no idea. Okay. I'll just say B, 5. How many grandchildren do you guys think that Biden has? A is 4, B is 5, C is 6, D is 7. So I'm saying B, 5. I don't know if it's 7. That's a lot. Okay. Should I get tickets to the next debate? Was another quiz question. I'm not sure if these debates are worth like getting tickets for. Joe Biden claims that the border is under control, which is clearly not. About how many migrants have crossed the border illegally during this. Okay, I remember earlier, I think it was Martha, she said 7 million people have crossed the border illegally so far. So I'm going to go with D, 7 million. A is none. B is 200,000. C is 1 million. So I'm going to go with D, 7 million. See, I was paying attention. Yep, 7 million.
Rumble has to be a place that welcomes everybody, where you feel free to be.
Hold on. Can we get back to the debate? Yes, no. All right.
Valley, California. We'll see you there next month when our colleagues at Fox Business host the next 2024 showdown.
Fox Business.
Why in California though?
Univision, the Reagan Foundation, and Rumble to bring you.
California's going down the toilet. Of all places, they want to host a presidential debate in California.
Nice there. 20 years ago, 70% of American adults said they were extremely proud to be an American. That number has now plummeted to just 39%. In his pitch to get to the Oval Office, President Reagan called America the shining city on a hill, a beacon of hope and optimism.
So in your closing statement tonight, please tell American voters why you are the person who can inspire this nation to a better day. These are 45 seconds, and we begin with Governor Burgum.
Okay. We don't need to listen to that because none of them except President Trump deserve to be the next president. But you guys might have different opinions, of course. But yeah, if you want to watch, I mean, these are their closing statements. So we're pretty much done with the debate. Because I need to end it here because I am hungry and I want to make some dinner. And so, yeah, it's been interesting. Um, I don't know. Maybe I should be. I'm thinking like how I've answered some of the questions. I don't think I did too bad with inserting my input here and there. I think I answered the questions pretty well. Um, but anyway, I hope if you made it this far that you enjoyed my reaction to the 2023 Republican presidential debates. Um, I might do a reaction to the Democrat debates or whichever debate they're doing next, whichever one they're hosting in California. Actually, it might be a Democrat debate since it's going to be in California. California is a Democrat state. That's probably why they're hosting it there. But I mean, you probably find better Democrat states to host it, or maybe not. Anyways, that's going off topic. Yeah, hope you enjoyed. And yeah,